We all know that during a natural disaster, having a mobile phone is literally your lifeline. But what do you do when the power is out? And what do you do when you have no idea when power will be returned? Today, I'm going to show you some simple tips and tricks everybody could use to conserve as much battery power out of their devices. Hey, welcome to another Talking Tech with a Techie guy. My name's Liron Segev, where I make technology simple. If this is your first time here and you're into gadgets, tips and tricks, consider hitting that subscribe button. The reason I made this video is I was watching the Twitter feeds and I was concerned to see how many people were saying that they were out of power and their phone was running low and they just didn't know what to do. So I decided to quickly make this video for you guys. Our thoughts are with you. Please keep safe and let's get on to the show. So one of the quickest ways to conserve battery on your phone is to reduce the brightness of your screen. Now you can do that by swiping down on an Android phone, and here you got your brightness level and you can just reduce that to as dim as possible. In fact, take off something called auto brightness, which basically depending on the lights that's in the room, it will increase the brightness or reduce it. Take that off completely so that you can always control it, making sure that your battery is saved for as long as possible. So you can see here on the battery usage, you can see screen is always at the top. So reduce that and that's immediately going to have a power effect on you. So whilst we're still on the topic of the screen, another thing that you need to change is the length of time the screen stays on before it goes into timeout. So go into your settings. Now that's under display. If you scroll down, you should be able to see something called screen timeout. Now set it to as little as possible, so 15 seconds. So another thing to do is not to make phone calls during an emergency when you're trying to conserve your battery. The reason for it, because when you make a call, you're putting a lot of strain, a lot of drain on the battery as your phone is communicating with the tower. So the ideal way is to send a text message. Now, not a WhatsApp, not in Facebook Messenger, not Snapchat, none of those, because those require data and the data synchronizes up and down. As it's sending a message, it's pulling down other messages that's due for you. So the ideal way is to actually go to good old SMS, send a message, send it to one person and let the one person pass on that message to the group of people that they have on their side. So most phones have some sort of a power saving mode, be it ultra power savings, power savior, low usage mode. They're all different terminology depending on the phone that you have. But on the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, if you go into your settings, you go to device maintenance, then you choose here the battery, you'll see that it's got 3 power saving modes. One's off, which it is now, one is medium, and one is maximum. Okay, so this is the medium power saving mode. It limits the background applications, it controls your always on display, it reduces your speed of the phone, so it doesn't use as much processing power, it decreases the brightness, and it changes the screen resolutions. If you do all of these, it's going to basically apply an additional 1 hour and 2 minutes to the current status of my phone. It's currently sitting at 38%. So I've got an option to do that. Alternatively, I can go into the maximum power saving mode. And what this does, it reduces the applications in the background, it controls your always on display, it reduces your speed again, it decreases the brightness, and it changes the resolutions to basically HD+. But what it will also do, if you do all this, it will get an additional 11 hours and 28 minutes onto your device. So let me show you what that actually looks like, because it changes your entire phone. So you can see it's going through the process, it's going through its little tick boxes and making all the changes as we've said. Okay, so immediately you can see that there's 15 hours and 58 minutes remaining, power saving on 37%. Okay, so now you can see here, this is not my normal Samsung phone, right? Don't have any applications. I've got a different set of icons. So it does give you the basics: phone, messaging, internet browser, and then the ability to go into settings. But you can also press the plus sign and add any additional application that you might absolutely want. So for example, Twitter, which allows you to keep in touch with what's going on in your area. Twitter will be a good one to have because Twitter is going to be instant one-line text messages of what's going on. Now, to get out of the this particular power saving modes, click on the 3 little dots and say turn off power savings. Now it's going to reverse everything that it's just done. Right, another cool trick is on your phone you have an option obviously that your ringtone can ring, or you can set it like low, or you can set it to vibrate. When you set it to vibrate, it actually uses more mechanisms in the phone to create that vibration, so don't do that, and it doesn't go to the vibrate mode, which basically shakes your phone and uses more power. One of the simplest things, and something that's always overlooked, is disabling things that you're not currently using. So you definitely don't need to have Wi-Fi going, especially if there's no Wi-Fi in the house. Disable your Bluetooth, disable things like your location, your mobile data, things that you're not using. Because remember, it's an emergency situation, we don't know when the power is going to come back on again, so we want to make sure that we can conserve as much as possible. So whilst it does seem a bit weird to switch everything off, it does give you the most amount of usage out of your phone. You can always send a text message to someone who's in charge of knowing about your location and your activities. So you're sending one text message and you can say things like, I will update you every hour on the hour. Send your text message, receive any information, check your Twitter, check your updates, and then when you're ready, disable that, so then you're conserving your power until the next time that you have to check in. Now on our phones we typically carry around the ability to connect to multiple accounts, multiple emails, multiple social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And if you're going to check all of them all the time, it's just going to drain the battery faster. So ideally in the emergency situation, nominate one, pick one email address that you're going to be used, and then go ahead and disable everything else. So you go into your accounts and then find all your accounts that you've currently got set up, remove them all except leaving just one. And then on the bottom it says auto sync data. Don't do that either. Switch off the automatic sync so you are always in charge of the amount of power that your phone is draining. Right, a cool thing to do as well is to go into your Google Maps and choose the map itself. Now, in order not to have the map constantly updating and constantly with the satellite finding your locations, what you can do is actually download the maps into offline mode. So you can do that by clicking the three little dots on the side there and then choosing offline maps, and allows you to select your area. Now I can choose which area I want to download, and then I click on the download button. Now this will be available even when I'm in aeroplane mode. Of course, you don't have to wait for a natural disaster to use some of these tips and tricks. If you see you're out all day and you're running out of juice, just simply implement them and extend the phone's battery power. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing. If you like these tips and tricks and gadgets and apps, give the video a thumbs up if you liked what you saw, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers for now.